Alright, hello YouTube. Let's try this again. This is like the third time I've had to do this. But today, right, we're going to talk about the snake on the pole, okay? And the snake on the pole is an ancient symbol. It really is. And it's a symbol still used today in many ways. So first we'll touch on the Asclepius, then the caduceus, right? And somehow both of these ended up being used as medical symbols. And of course, right, because we live in a Roman circus, a Babylonian circus, we're going to have to touch on some Roman concepts, right? So, the rod of Asclepius is a single serpent entwined rod wielded by the Greek god of healing and medicine. Asclepius was the son of Apollo and a mortal woman named Coronis, okay? And it's hilarious that Corona's in here still, somehow. And just like I said about Corona, it means mind. Novel, false. Corona, mind. Virus is an illness. False, mind, illness. But, so the Greek god of healing and medicine. Asclepius was the son of Apollo and a mortal woman named Coronis. When she displayed infidelity by sleeping with a mortal named Ischys. Sound it out. Good luck. Apollo came to know about this with his prophetic power and killed the child, right? That's the oldest account. But there's another account, right? Asclepius' very birth was due to a heroic act of medical intervention. So this other account says that the child lived. They saved him medically. Apollo then took the infant to be raised, this is Asclepius, by the wise old centaur Chiron, who taught him the art of healing. Do you know who Chiron is in Greek mythology? He's the ferryman in the underworld who guides souls across the river. Alright, regardless though, this Asclepius symbol, the rod of Asclepius, is the WHO logo, World Health Organization. That's their logo, and that's the Asclepius. Now, the caduceus, or the staff of Hermes, or Hermes Trismegistus, right? And Megistus, tris is 3. Megistus means vast or cosmic. That's in Greek and Latin. Depicted as a stick, right? The caduceus is depicted as a stick, entwined by 2 snakes and surmounted wings at the top, and is the symbol of modern medicine in India and everywhere else, right? In the U.S., 38% of medical associations and 63% of hospitals use this as their symbol. And that statistic is from Florence Inferno, okay? And if you haven't seen this, I guess it's a building, Florence Inferno. Look at it, because there's all kinds of art, and it's beautiful. And also go to Art Exposed online, because that's the Big Sibs website, and that shit's crazy. So yeah, right? This seems to be the confusion, right? The staff of Asclepius is the medical rod, not the staff of Hermes, not the caduceus. The caduceus is identified with thieves, merchants, and messengers, and the planet Mercury. Right? The planet Mercury is said to be a patron of thieves and outlaws, not a desirable protector of physicians, except for the fact that physicians are now thieves and merchants. But whatever, another video. And let's remember, that's what these myths were about. They were worship of the creation rather than the creator. Right. Mercury, or Hermes, which technically, whatever. Mercury, Hermes, was the god of commerce. Commerce, commercial codes, which is hilarious. And it's also relevant because we are under commercial law. We are. Admiralty law, martial law, commercial codes, Roman statutes, mandates, regulations. It's all this. And the thieves, outlaws, merchants are in power. That's who our elected official is the thieves and the outlaws, right? And the king merchant is the president. Again, right? Because I say this all the time. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. But Trump is a merchant. He sells merchandise. He's a merchant. And he's the top merchant. He's at the top of the food chain, right? Hermes here, right? Hermes, Thoth, Mercury, whatever. Depends on what country you're in, because they're all the same thing. Hermes here is not only Greco-Roman, right? He's not only Greek and Roman, but he's also Egyptian and Babylonian. So, let's make this connection, right? Babylon is where Hermes originates. Hermes is the god of commerce. Commercial codes are what we're under. We're under contract law, okay? So, do you get what I'm trying to say? Let's just keep going, sorry. Once again, right, we make the connection between Babylon and Rome, which is actually Babylon, Egypt, Rome, and Greece, and then we make that connection to right now, because it's still going on. It's the same old system of worshiping the creation rather than the creator. Everybody worships the things they see on TV, and their praise goes to dumb shit rather than praising the one who created everything. This set of beliefs, right, this religion, held by nearly everyone, is always at strife with the belief and worship of the one true and living God. Okay? You understand what I'm saying here? You get what I'm laying down? You know what I mean? Even though, right, nearly everyone in the world adheres to this Roman religion, this Babylonian bullshit, right? They all follow it, they serve it, they never rise and say, hey, no, something ain't right. They just go with it, right? Those are people of the earth. Even though everyone is that type of person, there's always a small group who serve the Maker and are always able to overcome these Roman, Babylonian, Greek, Egyptian cult members. That's what it is. I mean, the thing is, right, it's like, is it a cult if it's global? Yes, because it's not true. You believe in a lie. And this is the conflict for the true believer in Christ, right? Those who follow the Roman religion, they are always angry at the ones who don't. And just like Jew, Israelite, Hebrew are interchangeable, so also is Babylonian, Roman, Greek, Egyptian. There's a few others, I'm sure, but those words are all interchangeable, okay? That's why I say those who follow the Roman religion are always mad at the ones who don't. It's a Babylonian cult, because it's also a Roman cult. They're the same thing. So, that's the caduceus, right? And the last thing we need to touch on is the caduceus and the Asclepius, whatever. They're always on the same backdrop, right? Can you think of it, like, in your mind? It's called the Star of Life. In the hospitals, right? You'll see the caduceus sign, and the background looks a lot like an asterisk. It's called the Star of Life. The Star of Life is a blue, six-pointed star outlined with a white border and usually featuring the rod of Asclepius in the center. A lot of the ambulances around here have the caduceus, though. But the Asclepius has a blue background, and the caduceus has a red background. Just figured I'd mention it, right? Because red shift, blue shift is important, but we ain't going to get into that. So, I bring these things up, right? And there's a lot of the stuff that I even bother talking about. It's because I want people to study it themselves and look into it and be like, oh shit, he's right, or oh man, I'm doing this wrong, or to better yourself, to help yourself, right? And I don't mean, oh, he was right because I want praise, because I don't. Give your praise to God. He'll take care of me. But I bring these things up so you can study them, look into them, because you have to be aware of where you're at. You have to be aware of your surroundings, right? If you're in the middle of a Roman cult and you just act like everybody else, you're in that cult. But if you're in the center of a Roman cult with fingers up and resisting, obviously you're not part of that. And that's why I bother. You have to escape the cult, right? And not physically, because you can't. Rarely can anyone go into the woods and restart. But you have to circumcise your heart from it. Do not love this world. A friend of this world is not a friend of God. So you choose who you will serve. This creation or the Creator. Obviously, I've decided. So I also did this, right? Because there's 4 or 5 verses in the Bible that I read and understood them spiritually and not physically. And it changed my entire perception of everything about life, right? From this Roman cult, right? Worshipping physical bullshit and all that to what my mind should be. And that's what my mind is now. And that is the next video, right? I'm going to list these verses and talk about them briefly. I try to keep my videos to like 10 minutes, but it never happens. Never. I just go, So that's my next video. I give you these verses that put together the process of returning to normal. But here's one of those verses that inspired me, right? And this is a verse in John chapter 3. All of John chapter 3 is crucial. Everything that's in a red letter is spiritual, bro. It's physical in a legal sense, but it's spiritual teachings, and I'll show you. So, Jesus had just said this in verse 12, okay? So, verse 13 is what I'm talking about. In verse 12, he said, I could give you heavenly explanations, but you can't receive them. Then he says, no one has ascended into heaven except he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. So, if you understand what that means, it means that you can't go to heaven unless you came from heaven. Have you been to heaven? Kinda. So, no one has ascended into heaven except he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. That's who it is, the Son of Man, right? This is the verse. And it's right after this. So, it's the last verse, maybe? Anyway. Just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, so must the Son of Man be lifted. Just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, so must the Son of Man be lifted. Now what we have here is a poetic device. It's a metaphor. And what it does is it compares and equates 2 things. Okay? The 2 things being equated are the Son of Man and the serpent. Right? And now I know people hear the word serpent and they just run. But we're not going to do that. Before we spaz out, because we heard the word serpent, right? And we don't let fear take over, okay? Let's recognize that Jesus just said, lift up the serpent. Now, doesn't that, contradict everything that you've been told since birth? Maybe. Lift up the serpent, not run from it, okay? Again, metaphor. So, the serpent is wisdom. We know this because Jesus uses another poetic device and tells us, be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. How do we know this is a poetic device? Because you cannot literally be a serpent or a dove. It's a metaphor. You display the behaviors of said animals. So, wise as serpent, gentle as doves. So now we ask, what is the Son of Man? You're a man. What is your son? What does Jesus say about the Son of Man? No one has ascended into heaven except he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. You dig? So what he tells us, right, is that the Son of Man is in heaven. The kingdom of heaven is stretched out across the whole earth, but men don't see it. When the inside is like the outside, the kingdom is there. The kingdom comes not by sight, but is in the midst of you. And you must be reborn as the Son of Man to see the kingdom. The Son of Man and the Son of God are the same thing. This is a spiritual teaching. And try as I might, the real truth, the real actual truth of it, you can't convey it with words, right? No matter what words you put together and try to say this truth, you just can't. I try. I'm pretty articulate. I can really spit some shit out, very detailed, and that's why these videos are never 10 minutes. Because I just crawl into a hole of details and then have to climb back out and keep going. But, right, the reason that I made this is because I took my kids to the beach one time, right, about 6 months ago, and as I was leaving, I drove past this yard sale like thing, and then I didn't even give a shit about it. Why would I care about that? But something inside my mind just told me, like, you got to go back there. You got to go back. So I pull in somebody's parking lot, turn around, go back, because this is in the middle of nowhere. And when I get back, I'm looking around and shit, and I find these 2 photo albums, right? They're like this thick, big binders, and there's 2 of them, and it's from this elderly couple's trip to the Holy Land, Egypt, Luxor, all that shit, right? Turkey. There's a few of them, a few countries. I got pictures of the pyramids, the Sphinx. I got a picture of John the Baptist's hand. It's not his hand, it's a gold hand, but it's a bone from right here. I got a picture of that. I got mad pictures of Egypt from 1993 when the Great Pyramid had capstone. I got a picture of it. A few, actually. But I got this picture. Ain't that something? It's amazing, ain't it? And that's just standing somewhere on a mountaintop in Egypt. Looks a lot like the old Asclepius, don't it? But it's also got that cross look. And there's a serpent around it. That's it for this video, though. Asclepius, 1 snake. Caduceus, 2 snakes with wings. Also, I just want to say that Hermes is not Thoth, okay? Thoth is the god of wisdom, right? Hermes is not. Hermes is the god of commerce. But Thoth, right? I read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and I understand it spiritually because I know these things. And I'm trying to tell other people, right? If you take these videos and actually understand them, and then go listen to the Emerald Tablets, you'll understand exactly what he's saying. Countless times I descended into the halls of Amente, every time I emerged full of life. Right? That's similar to, if you eat the fruit, you will die. Okay? If in the halls of Amente, right, if you fall, one slip and you fall, you could die. Right? It's that simple. These are all metaphors and poetic devices used to describe something else. Just think about it. Son of Man. The Son of Man. Where's he come from? How? If you solve that, you'll be well on your way. But it's starting to rain now. Whatever. Love you guys. I'll see you soon.